a great haircut.
So, did any one of you ever try to find something new to eat or explore a new restaurant, maybe spending 10, 15 minutes on Google, just gave up and went to the same pizza joint they always go to? Sound familiar? Yeah, that's exactly how we felt, and that's why we created Gruberie. Oh, that's a different one. Turns out it's actually not that easy than it seems to explore your culinary horizon, right? If you go online, or if you even just on the street, there's just so much to choose from. Nobody has any time to go through all of that, and even if you try, it's still a tedious task to do. And 100 reviews don't make it any easier to make up your mind. And that's exactly why we created Gruberie. Wouldn't it be nice if there would be a service which can actually tell you what you like and where to find it? I think so. So we set out. I asked a lot of questions. You can interact with me. So that's why our team set out to build a service which creates personalized food recommendations for you. And over here, that's me. My co-founder Archimedes over there. Everyone say hi to Archimedes. Hi. More recently, we brought on some more talent, which is Rodrigo, which is one of our developers and helps us out there, as well as Neil, which is an expert in recommender systems, AI, and machine learning. So with that team, we are very excited to tackle this exciting market. And talking about the market, I just wanted to give you one example, which always blows my mind. In the US, about 146 million employed people, 70% of them go out about twice a week to spend $10 per lunch in average. And everyone good with numbers? Senator, you want to give it a try?
Yes.
I help you out. That's actually a little over $106 billion, and I don't know, it just blows my mind. We eat a lot. So now that we have established that there is actually somewhat of a market, which excites us because we're both into food, or all of us are both into food. Well, how are we doing this, right? I said personalized recommendations, and I meant that. Now, it would be cool if we could just answer all your questions, all your requests, what do I like, but, well, not really scalable. So we are actually building a food recommendation algorithm, our food fingerprint algorithm, which with a little bit of input, we can actually tell you what you like and where you can find it. We got quite some traction on that already. We're working on that for about 6 months now, and we're very excited to say that we're partnering with 8 restaurants in the Princeton area. We are currently putting our first algorithm into an app, into a prototype, which we are about to roll out in a few weeks to our customers. And we are very active on Twitter, Facebook, as well as our homepage. Please follow us, tweet to us, sign up at Gruberie. And actually one of our partners I wanted to mention specifically, which is the IDN right next door. And since we're all in such a great mood today, we are offering every single one of you who signs up at Gruberie.com today the first beer at the ID after this event. So with that, I wanted to thank the organizers, Senator and his office, Tech Launch, NJ Tech, and all of the judges, and of course all of you for attending. Please check us out. Those are our numbers, our email addresses, 24/7 for your welcome. Thank you very much.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty
Twice
good.
in 1 week, huh?
Yep, been a long time.
That's great. The thing is, not the thing, but great presentation.
Thank you.
Very confident, engaging, okay? Couple of questions. First one is, since you're doing a B to C play here, okay? Number one, what's your marketing strategy? What are your thoughts about how you can get your customer? And then the other thing is, what's your competition? What are you really up against?
Okay, so first, actually, so you're partially right. We are B2C on that segment, right? That's what I pitched to all of you because you are my target customer. But there's actually a B2B element as well. I said we're partnering with 8 restaurants, and that's actually where the money comes in. So for you guys, it will always be free. We are essentially helping restaurants to reach customers, right? In a new and engaging way. And actually, I was just part of another event this weekend where Mario was also a judge, which was very cool. And we went out and we engaged the users in our app, and that leads us to one of the marketing strategies, right? And I would like to talk to Aaron about that a little bit because I think he does a great job in gamification, making things exciting. So this is one, we got the feedback that people really like to get personal recommendations, right? They stood in the bar and they would kind of playing against each other. So what do I get? It's like, oh, you got a burger. I got a salad. Way more healthy. Those kind of things, right? Then obviously the social media aspect, we go for that. And in regards of our competitors, there is somewhat of a competitive field out there, but not in our direct market. So everyone which is out there is doing something in that segment, but not recommendations per se. Specifically not curated and quality recommendations, which is one very important part which we think we want to work with restaurants, more specifically in the beginning local restaurants, local businesses, support those, because we saw that the customers really wanted to find, this good old mom and pop restaurant where they can get their cannoli, for instance. So that's that.
So, first of all, I love your energy.
Thank you.
And I love your comfort level up there. I think it's great. My question would be, how are you handling, because you have a bit of a risk here. You're taking on risk in the sense that, what if the food sucks at these restaurants that you're partnering with?
Right.
And then that spreads on social media. So how are you going to deal with that scenario if you have a restaurant or several restaurants? What if there's a rush restaurant and a lot of them aren't really, the food's not too good?
Right. This is actually a very good question. And we're going back and forth on that, on how to approach this, right? Right now it's not a problem. Unfortunately, I would like to have this problem if we scale to that level. But right now we literally go to every single restaurant ourselves and we vouch for them. So you can think of, you can turn it around and make it to a disadvantage for us because eventually this will be hard to scale. But once we will still try to really vouch for every single restaurant. They basically have to go through our application process. And you're right, there's still a risk that the burger, which even if I tried it, the chef has a bad day or something, burger doesn't taste that well, they will have that risk. But still from the recommendation part itself, we are very, very confident that we can lock down the science behind it actually. So it is a very subjective field. If I tell you you will like something, I'll tell you, you're probably not going to like it. And that's, by the way, one of the other things which we think will kick us off, that people will just challenge us, right? You think you can predict what I like? Okay, I just try to prove you wrong, right? And then if I can actually hook them a little bit, then we will have that.
You might not want to talk to me so much after this comment, so we'll see. So, fantastic stage presence, great at actually presenting the business, but I missed, again, like the massive differentiator here. I think her point on, if someone has a bad experience, and in fact, I would personally avoid that campaign of, like, let's prove you wrong. I don't think people want to eat things that they don't like to prove you wrong. I think they want to eat things that they really like to prove you right, use you again.
Right.
I spent a lot of time in this space. Like my first startup in '99 was an online food ordering business that's, when I launched the same time as Seamless, like I know the space well. It's really, really, really hard to get restaurateurs to do anything unless you're driving business to them. And so I was just missing like what's super compelling for the consumer, what's super compelling for the restaurateur.
Okay. So for the consumer, and I wouldn't market it actually like that, right? It's kind of something you have in the back of your mind, maybe, but I wouldn't tell you. It's like, just challenge me, right? But so for the consumer, it really is that the seamless experience. So right now, especially for saving time, we basically came up with that because we go out for lunch every day. And we try to find new things, but if you walk out the door, you ask your coworkers, so where do we go? The answer is, I don't know, and I don't care, right? So I usually try to find something up front, and I give up because I cannot make up my mind. So I just want someone to tell me what I like, first of all.
Have you thought about like a Tinder for food kind of situation?
Yeah, I try not to compare myself to already successful startups, but it's similar. And for the restaurateurs, the biggest differentiator is, the biggest advantage is that they're not paying us a dime if we don't do our job correctly, which basically convinced all the 8 so far we have. And they are really excited to have something new, something where they can basically test their own menus, for example, right? That would be a great channel. Say, I want to put on a new burger next week or next month. I test that. I can target audiences, those kind of things.
Did you take a percentage of the order?
Essentially,
what percent?
We're targeting 10 to 15%. So far, when we went out to the restaurants, we got more actually.
This is problematic, but we're out of time. But we should talk later on.
Thank you.
Well, that's exactly what I just want to know what the revenue model is.
Right, yeah, it's commission based.
So I don't, by signing up, I don't pay anything to download your app or anything like
No,
that?
we did think about something, it's also like a freemium model. You can extend or you can unblock certain places or something like that, but we don't want to do that because for the end user, it really has to be all about convenience.
And what's the revenue, what's the restaurant get for that percentage? You're drawing more customers there because
Yeah.
I know it's a personalized recommendation.
On the B2B side, we are actually designing a sort of a dashboard for the restaurants where they can track exactly what they do. Essentially, it's their marketing budget, right, what they invest. And we can actually, we're designing a strategy on how to show them what it costs them and how to convert those customers and if they actually converted them and how long it takes them to get back that money they spent, right? So because a lot of restaurateurs are actually not really necessarily businessmen, they want to run their restaurant if they just have like one small place. So we give them a nice and easy way to actually do that, engage their users, rather than just with a coupon book where they have a hard time to track the stuff.
Anybody else? Good. All right.
Thank you.
Round of applause, nice job.